Welcome back to the rarest coins if you're someone who checks their pocket change or has a drawer full of old coins. Today's episode is going to make you take a second look. We're diving into a coin that millions of Americans have handled over the years, but very few know could be worth an absolute fortune. We're talking about the 1967 Washington quarter, a coin that, in extremely rare cases, has been rumored to sell for as much as $1.8 million. That's right. A coin that most people think is just spare change might actually be hiding some shocking value. But how is that even possible? Why would a quarter from 1967 be worth more than a house? In this video, we're breaking down the full story, from the coin's background and production history, to the known rare varieties and error coins, to the truth behind the million-dollar claims. Let's get started. First, let's talk about the history. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington. The design features a portrait of Washington on the front and an eagle on the back. That same design remained in place all the way until 1998, just before the launch of the state quarters program in 1999. Now, let's focus in on the year 1967. This was a very unusual time in U.S. coinage. Just a couple years earlier, in 1965, the United States stopped using 90% silver in quarters and dimes. That was due to a rising demand for silver and a shortage in the government supply. So beginning in 1965, quarters were no longer made with silver. They were struck with a copper-nickel-clad composition instead. But that's not the only thing that made the 1967 quarters different. During the mid to late 1960s, the U.S. Mint was dealing with a coin shortage. To fight hoarding, the Mint temporarily removed mint marks from coins. So if you look at a 1967 Washington quarter, you'll notice it has no mint mark at all. That means you can't immediately tell if it came from the Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco Mint, because none of them used mint marks that year. In 1967, over 1.5 billion quarters were struck. That's billion with a B. So yes, the coin is extremely common. You might be thinking, how can something that common possibly be valuable? That's where the story takes a turn. While most 1967 quarters are only worth face value, 25 cents, there are a few that are incredibly rare. And in certain cases, they've sold for huge amounts of money, including one example that reportedly sold in a private deal for up to $1.8 million. So let's explore what makes a 1967 quarter valuable. First, let's talk about condition. The most basic way a coin gains value is by being in exceptional condition. A circulated quarter with scratches, wear, and damage is almost always worth 25 cents. But a 1967 quarter that's never been used, what collectors call uncirculated or mint state, can be worth much more. Coins that have been graded MS 67, MS 68, or even MS 69 by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. But even that doesn't explain a $1 million price tag. The real value in the 1967 quarter lies in errors and varieties. During the coin shortage of the 1960s, the mint was striking coins around the clock. That led to all kinds of striking errors, and those errors are what collectors really go after. Here are some of the known and suspected valuable errors for the 1967 quarter. Double die errors, where parts of the design appear doubled, especially around the date or lettering. Off-center strikes, where the design is misaligned and part of the coin is blank or warped. Wrong planchet errors. These are extremely rare and valuable. If a 1967 quarter was accidentally struck on a planchet meant for a dime, penny, or even a foreign coin, it would be a major rarity. Clipped planchets, where a part of the coin is missing due to a mechanical cutting error. Proof-like or SMS coins. Now this is important. In 1967, the U.S. Mint did not release proof coins to the public, but they did create what's known as special mint sets, or SMS coins. These were made with a higher quality strike and smoother surfaces, though not quite as polished as proofs. Some of these coins, especially those with deep cameo contrast, are extremely collectible. But here's where it gets really interesting. There are rumors in the coin collecting world, and they've been floating around for years, that a single 1967 quarter was sold for as much as $1.8 million. The details are hard to confirm, but the story goes like this. The coin in question was struck on a silver planchet, had a rare double die obverse, and was graded in pristine condition. On top of that, it was believed to be a one-of-a-kind piece, possibly even a mint error that was never meant to leave the facility if true. A coin like that would be the holy grail for collectors. Unique coins with extraordinary features and perfect condition often fetch huge prices at auction, and sometimes even bigger prices in private sales between elite collectors. So what should you do if you have a 1967 quarter? Here's what to look for. Check the weight. A normal clad quarter weighs about 5.67 grams. If your coin is heavier or lighter, it could be struck on the wrong planchet. Examine the surfaces. Look closely for doubling on the date, the word liberty, or the motto "I in God we trust." Doubling usually shows up as a shadow or extra outline on the letters. Inspect the edges. A standard clad quarter has a copper-colored edge. If the edge looks silver, smooth, or odd in any way, it could be a rare planchet. Check for off-center designs. If any part of the coin's design is missing or shifted to one side, it might be an off-center strike. Look for mirror-like fields. SMS or proof-like coins from 1967 will have shiny, reflective fields and frosted design elements. If your coin looks unusually polished, it could be valuable. And of course, check the overall condition. A coin that has no scratches, strong detail, an original luster is worth far more than one that's been tossed in a drawer for 50 years. If you find anything unusual or think your coin could be rare, consider sending it in for professional grading. Services like PCGS and NGC can authenticate and evaluate your coin, giving it an official grade and helping you understand its market value. So let's bring it all together. The 1967 Washington quarter is one of the most common coins out there. But in the world of coin collecting, it only takes one thing to make a coin go from ordinary to extraordinary. One mint error, one unique strike, or one condition that sets it apart from the rest. And while most 1967 quarters are worth only face value, there are those rare examples that have stunned collectors and possibly sold for as much as $1.8 million. So before you spend that old quarter, give it a good look. You never know, it might just be worth more than your car, your house, or your retirement account. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss a rare coin alert. Drop a comment below if you've ever found an interesting coin in your change, or if you have a 1967 quarter you want to share with the community. Until next time, keep checking your change and happy collecting. Outro music fades in. If you need a version tailored for a podcast, social media clip, or a beginner-focused explainer, I can adjust this for your format. Let me know how you'd like to proceed. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to blow your mind, especially if you're someone who keeps a change jar or enjoys coin collecting. We're talking about a coin that most people wouldn't think twice about. It looks ordinary, it sounds ordinary, but in rare cases, it could be worth a small fortune. We're diving into the story of the 1983 P. Washington quarter, a coin that's rumored to have sold for as much as $1.3 million. That's right. A coin that originally had a face value of just 25 cents could now be worth over $1 million. Sound crazy? It's not. And by the time you finish this video, you'll understand exactly why. We're going to break down the history of the 1983 P quarter, explore what makes some of them so rare, show you what to look for, and explain whether that $1.3 million price tag is fact or just another numismatic myth. Let's get right into it. First, a little background. The Washington quarter has been a mainstay of American coinage since 1932. It was created to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington, and its obverse has featured his profile ever since. The reverse, at least until 1998, showed an eagle perched on a bundle of arrows with olive branches below. By 1983, this classic design was still in circulation, unchanged for decades. Now let's talk about the 1983 P quarter specifically. This coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, and you can tell by the small letter P found just to the right of Washington's ponytail on the obverse. In that year, over 673 million of these coins were minted, which might make it sound like there's nothing special about them. But that couldn't be further from the truth. You see, 1983 was a very unique year in U.S. minting history. Just like the year before, in 1982, the United States Mint did not produce any official mint sets for collectors. That means every 1983 P quarter that exists today either came from regular circulation or has been preserved by sheer luck. No special collector versions were made, and that's a big deal because most uncirculated coins from that year are hard to find. Why does this matter? Because condition plays a huge role in coin values. Finding a 1983 P quarter in truly uncirculated or mint state condition is extremely rare. Most of them were used, spent, dropped, and damaged like any other coin. As a result, when collectors do find a pristine example, one that's never been touched or has perfect details, it becomes incredibly valuable. Even without any errors, a 1983 P Washington quarter in high mint state condition can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. One example, graded MS 67 by PCGS, sold for over $2,000. That's for a regular coin with no known errors, just excellent condition. Imagine what a coin with both perfect condition and a rare error could be worth. Now let's talk about errors. The 1983 P quarter is known for one major, well-documented error that collectors go crazy for. It's called the spitting eagle variety. This error shows what looks like a line or drool coming out of the eagle's beak on the reverse side. It was caused by a die break, and it's one of the most famous die varieties from the 1980s. Some examples of the spitting eagle variety have sold for hundreds of dollars, even in circulated condition. In uncirculated condition, this variety can command serious premiums, sometimes over $1,000 depending on grade and demand. But here's where things get even more interesting. There are rumors, and we're talking serious whispers in the collector world, about a unique 1983 P quarter that sold privately for $1.3 million. Some speculate it was an ultra-rare combination, a near-perfect mint state, a dramatic double die, or possibly a coin struck on the wrong planchet. Others believe it may have had some undocumented but extraordinary error that made it one of a kind. While there's no confirmed auction listing for this exact coin at that price, many private sales in the coin world happen behind closed doors. Rare coins have been known to trade hands for millions, especially when they are the only known example or have a flawless grade like MS 70. In fact, some collectors are willing to pay whatever it takes to complete a set or to own a unique coin nobody else in the world has. So, how do you know if your 1983 P quarter is worth anything? Here's what you need to do. First, check for the spitting eagle error. Flip the coin over and look closely at the beak of the eagle. If you see a raised line or what looks like spit coming out of the beak, you may have the variety. Use a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe to confirm. Second, look at the condition. Coins that are worn down from years of use are worth less. A coin that still has original luster, sharp details, and no scratches or contact marks could be worth significantly more. Uncirculated or mint state coins should be evaluated by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. Third, check for unusual weight or color. A normal quarter should weigh 5.67 grams. If your coin weighs significantly more or less, it might have been struck on the wrong planchet. That's a rare error and can fetch a premium. Fourth, look at the lettering and date. Check for doubling or misalignment. A dramatic double die on a 1983 P quarter would be an incredibly rare find and could be worth thousands. And finally, if you think you have something special, consult a coin expert or send it off for grading. Even the experts can't always identify rare varieties without getting a coin under a microscope. Now let's circle back. Is there really a 1983 P Washington quarter worth $1.3 million? It's possible. Whether the story is completely true or exaggerated over time, the fact is that some 1983 P quarters are indeed worth big money, not because of their age, but because of their condition, scarcity, and error features. One unique or dramatic error on a coin with no mint sets ever released could easily create a collector frenzy. So before you spend that 1983 quarter in your change, take a closer look. You might be holding on to something way more valuable than 25 cents. Thanks for watching. If you found this video interesting, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. Drop a comment below if you've ever found a rare coin, or if you have a 1983 P quarter you want to show off. Until next time, keep checking your change, and happy collecting. Outro music fades in. If you'd like a shorter version for social media, or a version styled for younger audiences on platforms like TikTok or Instagram Reels, I can write that too. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, Make sure to hit that subscribe button because today we're diving deep into a coin that's been making headlines and sparking interest in collectors all over the world. We're talking about the 1979 D Washington quarter. At first glance, it might look like just another pocket change quarter, but some of these coins are worth a fortune. Yes, even as much as $1.40 million. Now I know what you're thinking. How can a coin that's barely over 40 years old be worth that kind of money? Stick around, because we're going to break down everything. The history of the 1979 quarter, the Denver Mint mark, what makes some of these coins so rare, and how to know if the one in your collection might be worth a fortune. Let's get started. First, let's talk about the history of the Washington quarter. This design was introduced back in 1932 to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington. The obverse features a portrait of Washington, based on a bust by Jean-Antoine Houdon. The reverse features an eagle with outstretched wings, clutching a bundle of arrows, with olive branches beneath it. This design was used until 1998, before the state quarters program began in 1999. Now, fast forward to 1979. The United States Mint produced quarters at 3 locations that year: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The ones from Denver carry a small D Mint mark, just to the right of Washington's ponytail on the obverse side. In total, the Denver Mint struck over 489 million quarters in 1979. So you might be wondering, with that kind of high mintage, how can any of them be valuable? Well, the answer lies in rarity, condition, and in some cases, mysterious mint errors. Let's talk value. In circulated condition, most 1979 D quarters are only worth face value, just 25 cents. Even in uncirculated condition, they're typically worth between 50 cents and a few dollars. But here's where things get interesting. Some 1979 D Washington quarters have appeared in auctions and private sales with incredibly high price tags. In particular, one example is rumored to have sold for a staggering $1.4 million. What could possibly justify that kind of value? There are a few possible explanations. First, error coins. Collectors go crazy for rare minting errors, and a few error types are known to exist for the 1979 D quarter. These include off-center strikes, double dies, clipped planchets, and more. But there's one ultra-rare variety that's especially sought after. The 1979 D quarter struck on a Susan B. Anthony dollar planchet. That's right. In extremely rare cases, a quarter was mistakenly struck on the smaller dollar planchet made of copper-nickel clad. This kind of mint error is incredibly valuable, not just because it's rare, but because it's dramatic and easy to see. These coins are often thicker, heavier, and sometimes have a partial design from the Susan B. Anthony coin. Now, most of these high-value error coins don't quite reach the million-dollar mark. But their existence creates a buzz in the numismatic world and leads to speculation about super rare or unique pieces that might be sitting in someone's coin jar right now. What about the claim that a 1979 D quarter sold for $1.4 million? As of now, no major auction house has confirmed that a standard 1979 D quarter reached that exact price. However, some private collectors have been known to pay enormous sums for unique or one-of-a-kind coins, especially those with provenance or connections to famous collections. It's possible that a specimen with extraordinary qualities, such as an exceptionally rare error, a unique planchet, or a top-tier proof-like finish, may have sold privately for that figure. Whether or not the $1.4 million sale is real or rumor, the key takeaway is this: certain 1979 D quarters can be worth serious money. And even if yours isn't worth $1 million, it still might be worth more than face value. So how can you tell if your 1979 D quarter is valuable? Here's what to look for. First, check for mint errors. Use a magnifying glass and look closely at both sides of the coin. Look for doubling, especially around the letters or date. Look for anything unusual like off-center strikes or an odd shape to the coin. Second, check the condition. Coins in mint state, especially those graded MS 65 and above, can be worth a lot more to collectors. You can send your coin to a grading service like PCGS or NGC for a professional evaluation. Third, weigh the coin. A normal quarter should weigh about 5.67 grams. If yours is significantly heavier or lighter, it might have been struck on the wrong planchet, and that could be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Fourth, do your research. Look up recent auction results for 1979 D quarters, especially those sold by reputable houses like Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers. This will give you an idea of what similar coins are actually selling for in today's market. And finally, if you think you've found something special, consult with an expert. A local coin dealer or numismatist can help you figure out whether you've struck gold or just copper-nickel. To wrap things up, the 1979 D Washington quarter is a fascinating coin. Most of them are common and only worth a few cents more than face value. But hidden among the millions are rare varieties and error coins that could be worth hundreds, thousands, or maybe even over $1 million. So before you spend that old quarter, take a second look. You might be holding a piece of hidden treasure in the palm of your hand. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell so you never miss a video. And let us know in the comments, have you ever found a rare coin in your pocket change? Until next time, happy collecting. Outro music fades in. If you want me to tailor this script for a particular audience or include more technical collector terms or specific auction results, I can do that too. Hello and welcome back to the channel. If you're into coin collecting or just curious about what loose change might be hiding in your pockets, then you're in the right place. Today we're talking about a coin that looks ordinary to most people but might be worth a life-changing amount of money. That's right, we're diving into the 1995 D Washington quarter, a coin that some say has sold for as much as $1.2 million. It sounds unbelievable, doesn't it? A 25-cent piece minted in 1995 possibly being worth over $1 million? But like many things in the world of coin collecting, there's more than meets the eye. In this video, we're going to break down the history of the 1995 D quarter, explain how much it's actually worth today, uncover the rare errors that make some of these coins incredibly valuable, and yes, discuss that jaw-dropping million-dollar claim. So stay tuned, because you might be holding a rare treasure in your change jar right now. Let's begin with a bit of history. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington. Its design has changed slightly over the decades, but the portrait of Washington by John Flanagan has remained on the obverse for most of the series. By 1995, this design was still in use, just a few years before the state quarters program was introduced in 1999. In 1995, the United States Mint produced Washington quarters at two primary locations, Philadelphia and Denver. The Denver Mint coins carry the small letter D on the obverse side, just to the right of Washington's ponytail. That's where the 1995 D designation comes from. The Denver Mint struck over 1 billion of these quarters that year, so it's a very common coin in circulation. Most people have had a 1995 D quarter in their hands at one time or another. Oh, how can a coin that's so common possibly be worth more than $1 million? It all comes down to three things: rarity, condition, and errors. Let's start with condition. The majority of 1995 D quarters are worth face value, 25 cents, especially if they've been in circulation and show signs of wear. However, if you happen to find one in mint state, meaning it's never been used and still looks brand new, it can be worth more to collectors. A 1995 D quarter graded MS 65 can be worth around $10 to $25. If it's graded MS 67 or higher, its value can climb to over $100. In extremely rare cases where the coin has a flawless strike, bright luster, and perfect surfaces, it could be worth several $100s. But that's still a far cry from $1.2 million. So what gives? Let's talk about errors. This is where things get really interesting. Error coins are mistakes made during the minting process. These mistakes can be very subtle or extremely dramatic, and collectors are always on the hunt for them. Some of the most valuable error coins in U.S. history are those with rare misprints, misstrikes, or planchet issues. For the 1995 D quarter, collectors have identified several types of errors that can dramatically increase the coin's value. These include off-center strikes, where the design is not properly aligned on the coin double dies, where parts of the design are duplicated, especially on the lettering or date-clipped planchets, where part of the coin is missing due to a faulty blank broad strikes, where the coin is struck without a proper collar, causing it to spread out wider than normal. A double die error, in particular, can be extremely valuable if dramatic enough. The more visible and dramatic the doubling, the higher the value. Now, let's get into the big claim. The story of a 1995 D quarter that allegedly sold for $1.2 million. While no major auction house has publicly confirmed a $1.2 million sale for a 1995 D quarter, the rumor continues to circulate online, in forums, and among collectors. The theory is that this particular coin had an extremely rare and possibly unique error and was in nearly flawless condition, perhaps a perfect MS-70 or close to it. Some believe it could have been struck on the wrong planchet or had an unknown minting anomaly that made it one of a kind. Others speculate it may have belonged to a private collection or was involved in a high-profile private sale that hasn't been disclosed publicly. Whatever the truth may be, what this story shows is that even modern coins minted as recently as the 1990s, can sometimes fetch unbelievable prices if they are rare, unusual, or in perfect condition. So what should you do if you have a 1995 D quarter? Here's a checklist to help you figure out if it's worth anything. First, inspect the coin for visible errors. Use a magnifying glass and good lighting. Look at the date, the word liberty, the motto "I in God we trust," and the reverse lettering. Doubling in any of these areas could signal a valuable double die error. Second, check the alignment. Is the design off-center? Are the rims uneven? If so, it could be an off-center strike. Third, look for planchet issues. Is part of the coin missing? Does the coin seem unusually thick, thin, or oddly shaped? That could indicate a wrong planchet or clipped planchet error. Fourth, weigh the coin. A normal quarter should weigh about 5.67 grams. If your 1995 D quarter weighs more or less than that, it may have been struck on the wrong metal, and that's a big deal. Finally, consider getting the coin graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. A high-grade coin with a rare error can command serious money, especially if it's certified by a trusted source. Even if you don't have $1 million coin in your hands, it's still worth checking. You never know what treasure you might find in your pocket change. To wrap it up, the 1995 D Washington quarter might seem like just another common coin, but under the right conditions, a rare mint error, perfect condition, or something truly unique, it could be worth thousands, even hundreds of thousands, or possibly that mythical $1.2 million. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more coin collecting tips, history, and amazing discoveries. And let me know in the comments, have you ever found a rare or valuable coin in your pocket change? Until next time, keep searching, keep collecting, and who knows, your next coin might just be the one that changes your life. Outro music fades in. Let me know if you want a shortened version or if you want a version written in a more casual, TikTok-style tone. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you've ever glanced at a quarter and thought it was just 25 cents, you might want to start looking a little closer. Because today, we're talking about a Washington quarter from 1981, a coin that has recently gained massive attention due to one incredible claim: that a single 1981 D Washington quarter might have sold for up to $1.5 million. That's right, $1.5 million. For a quarter. So how is that possible? What makes this coin so special? What's the real history behind the 1981 D quarter, and what should you be looking for in your own collection? Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or just curious about the change in your pocket, stick around. This is one video you don't want to miss. Let's dive right in. First, a bit of background. The Washington quarter was introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington. The original design, created by John Flanagan, has remained largely unchanged on the obverse, or front side, for most of the 20th century. The reverse featured a bald eagle with outstretched wings until it was replaced by the 50-state quarters program in 1999. Now, fast forward to the year 1981. In that year, quarters were minted at 3 different facilities: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The 1981 D quarter was produced at the Denver Mint, which is indicated by the small letter D located just to the right of Washington's ponytail on the front of the coin. Over 575 million quarters were minted at Denver that year, making it a very common coin in circulation. So, if it's so common, why is there talk of a $1.5 million version? Let's get into the details. For starters, while most 1981 D quarters are worth face value, the value dramatically increases under certain conditions. Collectors are always looking for high-grade coins, those that are in mint state, never circulated, and have very few, if any, imperfections. The highest known grade for the 1981 D Washington quarter is mint state 67. Coins in this condition can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars at auction, but it's not just about condition. What truly pushes a coin into the six or seven-figure territory are rare errors or varieties. Those small, often accidental mistakes made at the mint that turn an ordinary coin into a one-of-a-kind treasure. Let's talk about the known errors and rare varieties associated with the 1981 D Washington quarter. First up, the double die. This is one of the most famous and sought-after error types. A double die occurs when the coin's design is accidentally engraved twice at slightly different angles. This results in a visible doubling of the letters or numbers, especially around the date, the word liberty, and the motto, "In God We Trust." While no confirmed widespread double die exists for the 1981 D quarter, if someone were to find one, especially in mint condition, its rarity and uniqueness could command an enormous price. Second, off-center strikes. These occur when the coin blank, also known as a planchet, is not properly aligned during the strike. Part of the design may be missing or shifted. Minor off-center coins may not be worth much, but dramatic off-center errors, especially if the coin is still in great condition, can be worth hundreds or thousands of dollars. Third, wrong planchet errors. This happens when a quarter is mistakenly struck on a planchet mint for another denomination, like a nickel or foreign coin. These types of errors are rare, and when certified, can be incredibly valuable, sometimes tens of thousands of dollars depending on how clear the error is. Now let's get back to the million-dollar question. Where did the $1.5 million number come from? As with many rare coin legends, the details can be murky. There have been rumors in collector communities and forums about a 1981 D quarter that featured a unique combination of errors, possibly a wrong planchet, a flawless double die, and an uncirculated mint state, all wrapped into one coin. The rumor goes that this coin was purchased by a high-profile private collector, possibly as part of a large estate or auction deal, and the price reportedly reached as high as $1.5 million. Is it confirmed? Not publicly. No major auction house has published a sale at that amount for this coin, but it's entirely possible it happened in a private deal. And in the world of numismatics, private transactions among elite collectors are more common than you'd think, and often kept confidential. Regardless of whether that exact sale is real, what is absolutely true is this. Even an ordinary-looking coin like the 1981 D quarter could be worth far more than you think, if it has the right features. So how can you check your own 1981 D quarters? Here's what to do. First, check the overall condition. If it looks new, shiny, and has sharp details with no signs of wear, you may have a mint state coin. That alone could make it worth more than face value. Second, look for errors. Examine the lettering for doubling. Check both sides of the coin for off-center designs, and inspect the edges. Use a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe to really get in close. Third, weigh the coin. A standard quarter weighs 5.67 grams. If yours is heavier or lighter, you may have a wrong planchet error. Fourth, check the rim and reading. Some error coins have incomplete reading or unusual edges, which can also indicate a misstrike. And finally, consider getting your coin graded. Services like PCGS or NGC can not only authenticate your coin, but give it a professional grade, which increases its value and makes it easier to sell. Let's wrap this up. The 1981 D Washington quarter might seem like a totally ordinary coin, and for most people, it is. But every now and then, a rare version shows up that defies expectations. Whether it's an unusual error, a perfect strike, or a once-in-a-lifetime minting anomaly, the right coin can go from pocket change to life-changing wealth. So before you spend that old quarter, take a closer look. You just might be holding the next million-dollar coin in your hand. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and tap the bell so you don't miss the next rare coin spotlight. Drop a comment below and let us know, have you ever found a strange or valuable coin in your change? Until next time, keep collecting, keep learning, and always check your pocket change. You never know what you might find. Outro music fades in. Let me know if you'd like a version customized for TikTok, Instagram, or a shorter voiceover format. I can also help with visual shot ideas, graphic suggestions, or even a thumbnail concept if you're producing the full video.